Hello and welcome back to Games Played Technically. I'm your host, and today we are back in 7 Days to Die. What you are watching right now is potentially my last base before version 2.0 comes out. If you're not in the know, you're not going to be able to use your old saves with version 2.0. If you are on PC, you can't set it to remain on version 1.4 or whichever version you want, and it'll stay on that branch, and you'll be able to continue playing your old games. But you won't see any of the new features, which is the biome progression stuff. And so I wanted to get these bases out of the way because these have been floating around in my brain for a little while, and I wanted to do them before we get to 2.0. I don't think anything's going to change so drastically in regards to base building. It's mainly the biome update stuff. But either way, I wanted to get these out of the way, and I haven't released a video in a while. Sorry, both life and work have been taking turns beating the crap out of me, but that's just the way it is. Regardless, this base is overkill. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's sort of like a proof of concept, but I guess inverted in the sense that instead of creating a small contained experiment to see if my strategy worked, I went all the way. I went maximal. This is just, I mean, I could have gone further, but this is restrained, I guess, in a way, even though considering I probably wouldn't want to build this in survival mode because it's just so much concrete. Like, it's thousands of blocks of concrete. I would be remiss if I didn't attribute this strategy to Joe Averill 2986. He commented a month ago about a design that works around making sure that you can do demos in the back. So that was the main issue, right? That was something I talked about in my base building video, was that I didn't really have a strategy for demos other than having my buddy snipe them because he's a good shot. What Joe mentioned was that if you pad them such that you can shoot them in the back, either with turrets or by shooting them yourself, you avoid the issue of accidentally detonating them. Great, perfect, let's try that out. And so the majority of the layout is complete. The wiring is what we have to do next, and the wiring is going to be a little complicated. So I figured previously I did get a few questions asking, like, how'd you do the wiring, how'd you do all the setup? So I figured I might as well do it in the video. That way you guys can see exactly what I do. First of all, let's turn on our cheats, because we're big cheaters. As maybe you could make out while I was building the base, the idea is Zeds enter through here, this way, go up. And as they're going up, they are getting shot at by 3 tiers of SMG turrets. I didn't do shotgun turrets. That's really something I want to test out. Maybe I'll do that in 2.0, is just how effective is a shotgun, just kind of a poor man's version of an SMG. But for now, it's 3 tiers of SMGs that will shoot Zeds as they are walking up. The idea is they will only shoot when a Zed has their back to the turret, right? So they'll get shot here, and in all likeliness, like, a number of them are going to drop right here. We're going to tear through 9mm ammo, but this is, again, sort of a proof of concept. Any Zeds that make it up here, so again, I might have to, I'm gonna have to put like blinders or something. That way so the turrets don't fire on Zeds as they're crossing along here. And they'll have 2 paths to do that. That's just to maintain a healthy flow. Because again, we want these Zeds approaching as fast as possible so that they can die as fast as possible, and hopefully we clear all the waves. And then when they enter here, this is also a bit of overkill. So this is a total of 20 dart traps here. Fence posts are going to have their lines crossing here, and these might be a little too close. I realize if something blows up, they're going to get damaged. We'll figure that out. So they'll walk through here, and they're going to get slow rolled through here and just get hit by as many darts as we can get them with. They will then round this corner, get hit by these blade traps here, and more dart traps, and this is going to be a fighting position. We'll get this up to steel and get our railings in the way. And then we have our trap hatch door here that we can use to drop them. And if we do drop them, which we will do that now, they're going to land down here. This is 13 blocks. Same thing on the other side, right? They'll drop down here and then begin pathing anew. Let's take a look at the fighting position. So this is best as a 2-man position. You've got 2 sides, right? I guess a way to do it is you can open the hatch on one side, fight the Zeds on one side. If it needs repairs, you drop the hatch, raise this one. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Either way, the idea is to get as much flow in here as possible. That's the reason I did 2 sides. And also just to get this this staircase work in here. That way we could shoot the Zeds. There is a lot of internal maintenance passageways. We'll see here if this needs an additional railing. I don't like the idea that Zeds would try to cut through here. I wonder how this is going to work. So also in version 2.0, Zeds will crouch. They will squeeze through anything short of a half a block, I think, is what I saw in Tem's video. Didn't finish the whole thing, but it looks like they would be able to crawl. So if they can do that, they might consider this like a valid path, right? Because I mean, this isn't much. This is like 200 HP. They can easily tear through that. We'll see how that works. That's why I would put railings here on the other end. The railings will still let me repair and interact with the dart traps, but also put some extra meat there. We've got that. We've got, I'm going to put a ladder here, but it's just a way to drop. So these are the dart traps that are under that kill zone up here. Same thing on the other side. And you can cut through here. There's a ladder that's going to be going all the way up and down, so you can get to these turrets. These turrets will get through their ammo at least once, so you'll have to refill them. So I'll put some crates down here. There's the other side with the dart traps, some crates for dart. And then up here is, oh, that's right, access to the dart traps in the ceiling. And then just access to the roof. I figured why not have access to the roof? Probably put some spikes over here. This is all railing so you can shoot through it. And this is a way of dealing with vultures. But it is more of a complex than my typical build. So this will be interesting. So let's get started on the wiring. Let's see what our max power output is. I'm pretty sure it's 200. Generator right there. Let's go ahead and get our motors in there. Max this guy out. Oh, it's 300 watts. Okay, we're good then. We could even... I think there's a point where I had more dart traps here. Yeah, I could re-add the ones on the bottom here. We're gonna do that. Then we will block this up again. Okay, so we can re-add these because these only add another 20 watts. So we got to figure out how we place our motion sensor. So the main problem with the motion sensor is if we lose it, that's bad. The dart traps will not shoot anymore because that is how they're getting their power. I always forget how this works. I think I'd figured it out previously, but I think it's a cone, right? I guess we'll find out. Let's see how it works. Okay, it triggers right around here. This may not work the way I want it to. Now let's do this. Let's lose a few darts, but make sure we trigger when we want to trigger. We should hear that click right around here. Oh, it's still, I think it's blocked by the dart trap. I think it's not going to matter how far up we go. Which is weird because we can see through there. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't click until we're in the middle regardless of how we set it. I wonder if this is different for Zeds, but at least for the player it seems to trigger with the camera, right? So if I can see it, it can see me. We'll have to test this out. Okay, let's try to spawn a Zed here. Come on. So it did trigger right around the middle. I think if we put it... See, can we turn it all the way around? So let's turn all the way around this way. Not hearing a click. Crap, it can't see through the bars, can it? That's wild. Or maybe it's the fence posts that are in the way? That's kind of lame. You can see through the fence posts. Am I too low? Or too high up? It can't see because of the dart traps. Damn. I know what we can do. What's under here? Yeah, we can do this. Just for testing's sake, let's go ahead and put it there. Space it upward. That's a view. Okay, that works. And in fact, what we can do is we can just trade all of this out. Yeah, that triggers right away. I like that. Okay, how do we make this not look goofy? Probably like this. There we go, a little dip there. Gets us around it. And then these can also be changed. We can do Let's do these slope blocks, these 45-degree slope blocks. Now it's got a perfect view on the kill zone, and it should still be able to see through that. Yep. You hear it triggering there. Perfect. All right, what a ridiculous thing we have here, but if it works, it works. This is unnecessary. We could just pretend, right? We could just pretend that this is a floating camera. Is that really where my suspension of disbelief ends? I mean, we have characters, right, that when you first start out are capable of fashioning clothes and weapons out of whatever material they find around in the wilderness, but they can't cook meat. They don't know how to cook it. They just burn it every single time. Like, that's... This is a ridiculous game. And yet what I couldn't do is a floating camera. Okay, well... So, right, we go from the generator to the motion detector. These are going to operate as independent cells, right? You can't connect multiple generators together, which is kind of a shame, because then we wouldn't need to worry about our overall capacity. Maybe that's a way of limiting how much you put on each circuit, which I suppose isn't the worst thing in the world. They could do heavier gauge wires, although wires don't cost anything anyway. I'm just rambling. Okay, so from our generator, you can see the power travels to our camera. From our camera, it travels into our dart traps. So we do 6 dart traps on each, or rather 3 dart traps on each side. So that's a total of 6 here. And that right there is 60 watts plus the camera, that's 65. However, we've also got the rest of these guys. How much are electric fence posts? No, these are only 5. So we can actually 5, 10, 15, 30. We should be able to power, let's see, 22, that's 220, 225, 225 plus 30 is 255. So we should be able to power everything on this side. So that'll include some additional dart traps there. These electric fence posts, these should all be powered. And then we'll have a separate generator for these blade traps, these traps here in this door. Similarly, on this side, we'll have another set. And then these turrets are all going to be probably on their own, because these are 15. Okay, we'll figure that out once we get to it. We'll continue plugging things in. I don't like that I have to go back and click it. So when you're playing this without debug commands or creative mode commands, you have to... You have to come down here, click the camera, then you got to run all the way around your base, up the stairs, back over this way, and then click on the item you're trying to power. It's a little bit, it's a little bit crazy. We might run out of, we might need a relay here soon. Forget how many, yeah, we've hit the maximum. Okay, let's see, let's clip these here. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a railing corner, then regular railings. Remember, it's gotta be railings, not bars, because you cannot interact through bars. You can interact through railings. And this is just to add some extra HP. That way the Zeds don't decide, oh, let me just cut through here. Okay, now that that's set, we can put our relay there. So if you're unfamiliar with using electricity, all a relay does is act as an additional supply of connections. What was the total number? It was 9? 9 is the total number of connections you can have. So you could have 9 relays, and those relays can then branch out to more. You can have an infinite number of connections. Well, rather, the limit's going to be the amount of power you can supply through one generator, which is 300 watts. But there we go. So that connects those, and we can connect these as well. And what I'm hoping this means is that we can do, I always forget, but I think this means we can do the repairs from this end or from the other end. I forget. I think it's the other way around. So when zombies walk through electric fence posts, they get damaged, but so does the electric fence post, so they have to be repaired periodically. And I want the ones that need repair to be on this side. That way I can just repair them by coming over here, rather than having to go all the way around this way to this side to repair them. So I think this is the way to do it. I think it's the end the very end, the terminal. I'm thinking we can do a relay over here. See, let's do a relay here. Can we get around this? Yeah, we'll get stuck on it, but there should be enough space to get through. And so these will connect to our dart traps on this side. Actually, I think we can test this out, make sure it's working the way we want it to. Additionally, we connect to these over here, as well as 2 more dart traps. We might need an additional relay here. Yeah, okay. We'll have to do a relay here as well. We'll put it in the corner, that way it doesn't get in the way. And then let's get our camera connected to these relays. It should reach. Yep. And then I think this relay can then connect to this relay. Yep. And there we go. That should be every block powered there. Yeah. So that's... Oh, we still have our ceiling blocks here. This is Looney Tunes shit. Like, this would be... Maintenance would be a nightmare on these. Nope. Reach the maximum number of connections. Okay, between 2 relays, we're able to get 20... What is this? 22 dart traps and 3 fence posts. Well, 6 fence posts, but you know what I mean. So that should be all of them. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Let's get these electric fence posts hooked up. So, yep, it's triggered pretty much immediately. Take a little damage from the electricity. Let's see, and what got damaged here? Okay, yeah, it's this side getting damaged. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Okay, it's not intuitive. Although maybe that's what makes sense. The terminal would be what gets damaged. Is that realistic? Switch this to zombies only. So it'll be zombie. Power delay is none, right? We want it to trigger instantly. And the duration is for as long as it's triggered. So it's as often as the game updates for this, which is multiple times a second at least, I think. As soon as they step out, it might be on for like half a second and then it'll disable. But if you do 1 second, 2 seconds, this would be how maybe you do the pressure plates, is you have it trigger on for 2 seconds, but figuring out how long a zombie's going to be in range, that's, I don't know, that's for the birds, I think. Okay, now we just got to repeat the process on this side. Fun stuff. Okay, all of our dart traps and all of our fence posts should now be connected. I think we should be good. And so this is what I meant by we're not exactly following the rules the whole way through. Zed's approaching through here. Demos, they're going to get hit by spikes, or by darts in the face. I guess that could trigger them. Trigger demos, rather. Detonate them. Okay, so that takes care of our dart traps. That's all set. That's perfect. That's the way we want it. So for our first tier, or rather our second tier of damage on the Zeds. So they'll walk through here, get stuck for a bit, get hit by darts from every direction. They're getting roughed up in here. This is the this is the kill zone. This is the bad box right here. And then over here, this is a less bad box, but this is where we fight them. My hope is that we get like a Zed an hour coming all the way over here, but we'll see how it goes. They can be pretty resilient. Some of the new Zeds from the update are apparently pretty resilient. They got those Infernal Zeds, which have more XP. Those can be pretty tanky. Those are the orange ones. They've got some blue charged ones, which are fast, but less HP. They've got some different colors, is what they've added. Okay, now we got to figure out the turrets. And first of all, they need power. So we can actually do this with a single generator. Put it on the roof here, on the ceiling. That way it's nice and centered. What I'm hoping is that they will target me without any ammo. And so I recessed them a little bit in here. The idea being, right, is that they wouldn't be able to hit anything I don't want them to. But yeah, this is going to be a problem. They're going to be able to shoot. If you're over here, you're going to get shot. And we don't want that. So we're going to have to figure that out. This isn't going to look good. In fact, I know I'm going to hate this. But we're doing this. So let's get these powered. We're going to need a relay down here. Okay, they are triggering right here. So we don't want that. So we will then switch to a full cover here. Okay, we'll do that. That doesn't look so bad. And so now they should only trigger up here. So if I'm walking up this... There we go. That's not bad. Now the other thing we want is we want to make sure... Yeah, so this is not good. I gotta think what our solution here is. And we just keep doing that. Those can see down there, so let's go a little bit further. And another thing we can do is put this here. That means that these guys basically only shoot at you right about here. Okay. Yeah, so it's like right around here that they lose vision. Yep, I see them drop. Okay, that's perfect. These are going to require a little more. So let's finish our testing here with the bottom row. You see us? They drop. Yeah, we got to go all the way back down to the stairs. Perfect. Okay. Okay, now let's enable these guys. Let's see. So these will trigger probably. Yep. And they're gonna stay on. So I think we need to. Because they're still shooting over here. We don't want them to do that. So we might actually have to... They still trigger right there. Some of them will lose targeting. That's going to stay on you. I guess what we can do is this. A little further out. So it might be worth putting in a slope here as well. You'll get hit by these and by those. Looks like they will continue to target you. So I think what we can do is really limits their range. These might warrant a slope, a 60 wedge here. That way they trigger a little sooner. Here, in theory, you'd be getting hit by all three. These are going to be the toughest ones. Put a roof here. That might be okay. I mean, they're short. They're not tall. So they'll trigger there. Perfect. But I think what we want here... maybe something like that. Let's see how that works. So Zed will round the corner here. Okay, that works. That works. So right around here, you're getting walled by all of them, I think, for a brief moment, and then it stops. But it does mean that their Zeds will be taking sustained fire the whole way up, and we won't be hitting any targets in the face, which is also what we want. I think this is it. This is what we're looking for. It ain't pretty, that's for sure. So the turrets are ready, other than, you know, putting ammo in them. Let's do what another commenter suggested, and I don't remember who it was exactly, but they said just do railings. Why do other blocks? Why complicate it? Just do railings. We're not gonna melee. It's just gonna be firearms. So we're going to do this. Yeah, I think this should keep them from being able to squeeze through. In fact, to make it more certain, we can put... Okay, I think that should do the trick. We gotta put some hatches down up here. And we'll put in some spike traps. Hopefully we won't get caught on our own spikes, but I think that should let us... We won't be coming up here really for any particular reason. Let's see, let's put a ladder here. This is our way up and down. Alright, we're gonna pad up the... This is kind of the drop zone from the hatches, just to make it a little more resilient in case we get any demos or just from the grenades that we drop down there. This is a long process, so buckle up. I mean, it's long for me. For you guys, it'll be mere seconds. I mean, this is an unreal amount of steel. In some games, this is all of the steel I've gotten. Maybe not all of it. Definitely not all of it, but a significant chunk. Alright, that means that anyone dropping from up here will land on these steel pads. And hopefully not... And any grenades we drop... Oh, we didn't do shoots. Didn't do shoots, did we? Let's see if we can get those done. Okay. And then... I think this was my original design, and I forgot it somewhere along the way. But you see it works like that. I think that's much better. I like that. Because you get more of a controlled drop. Or rather, a repeatable trajectory for your drop. Alright, let's do that. We'll leave this one. Now there's some doors to put in. See, we haven't electrified this stuff in here. Let's get that done real quick. Let's see if if this works here. I'm worried that we've left too small a gap here, but we'll see. That triggers pretty late. I think that will do. We do have a little bit of a blind spot, but it's close enough, I think. And we'll operate the dart traps and the blade traps. And I suppose the electric fence posts. And no safety switches on this one. Just we're raw dogging it. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so that should be it. We will need a switch for the hatch. Let's put that down right now. Okay. And I think that's it. I think we're wired up for everything but lighting. So we've got our turrets laid up. We've got our outer dart traps and our inner dart traps ready to go. We've got our blade traps wired up. We've got our motion sensors ready. We're just about there. We're just about ready to test. We'll add some lighting just so that we can see what we're doing, and then we'll go from there. All right, this place is lit up like a Christmas tree. We've got lights everywhere. We've got our spotlights on the zones of interest, we'll call them. So we're ready for testing. We might put a door here, and then we're ready for testing. And let's do that real quick. We're not ready for testing. We've got to load up every single dart trap, every turret with ammunition. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and then we will test. But first, a word from our sponsor. Do you play 7 Days to Die? Are you curious about Oblivion? Maybe you play Oblivion. Hey, that's great. Are you sick and tired of spending gold on spells you can't even cast? Of course not, you're no dummy. You wouldn't have relied on the in-game menus. Instead of foolishly spending your gold, you would have first run your spell through my handy dandy, new and improved, patent pending Oblivion spell calculator. It comes in these colors. And it's easy to use, just click the link in the description. Make a copy of the spreadsheet, and if it asks for permission, click allow. Enter your character stats and start making spells. Why use my calculator instead of the in-game menus? Because unlike the 20-year-old game, my calculator will actually tell you if you can or can't cast a spell. Just follow the instructions and you'll always be able to cast the spells you make, guaranteed. But wait, there's more. You can change the source type. Select from options such as spells, weapon enchants. You can't select armor enchants. You don't need a calculator for armor enchants. But if you do wear armor, then you know the pain of spell effectiveness. Not anymore with my spell effectiveness checkbox. Just set your spell effectiveness level, then click the checkbox, and the calculator will tell you what magnitude or duration your spell needs to overcome your spell effectiveness reduction. Wow. And when it comes to weapons, plan out your enchants. Pick a soul gem size, set your spell effects, all without a confusing and arcane user interface. Now the question is, what would you be willing to pay for this calculator? We're kind of on the honor system, but I do accept payment in the form of Star Trek The Next Generation trading card. No more Barclays, give me Frakes or Crosby. If you don't have trading cards for some reason, I also accept payment in the form of mint condition X-Men action figures. Just leave them at your doorstep. I'll know where to find them. Either way, click the link in the description and start making good spells today. No purchase necessary. Calculator is no guarantee of good spells. Not liable for getting clobbered by gobbles. Terms and conditions apply. What even is FDIC? All right, and we're back, and that took a minute. Hopefully there was something about 2 minutes long to entertain you guys while I was away. Now we've gotten to the main event. Is this base going to hold out? I've set it to day 101, so we're going to get a fairly hefty horde. Difficulty should be insanity. Oh shit, I didn't check. It probably is. And I also took the time to do a little bit of greebling, add a little bit of fun stuff. We're just using a bit of signage to entice the zombies, let them know that they are welcome to show up. All we have to do is get in a position and pass the day. So with all these turrets, this game really became a load turret and dart trap simulator, because that's all there was really time to do. And the time it took me to cycle around to fill up turrets fill up dart traps. I was back around to filling up turrets and then filling up the dart traps again, doing repairs on the electric fence posts, which held up pretty well. I think maybe we would have lost like one on each side if I hadn't been doing anything. I didn't even have time to look to see if we got any demos. Hey guys, I'm gonna step in here. Just ran through all the footage and I didn't see a single demo. I don't know why. Our game stage was close to 500. The only thing I can think of is this is the world that I've been using for all of my base builds. And I'm wondering if it has gotten a little weird in some places, and I'm wondering if that's affecting anything. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I don't know why we wouldn't have gotten a demo, and that's a bummer because that was the whole point, right? We were going to test it against some demos. That's okay. We'll iterate on this base and try it out in 2.0 and see if we can test it against some demos and see how well it works. To its credit, if you account for the fact that I use a 90-minute day, we got about just south of 700 kills. So again, accounting for the 90-minute day, right? That's a little over 400 kills, which is pretty good, I guess. Although I think that just speaks to the dominance, I guess, of turrets, right? They were incredibly effective. It's just that it turns the game into a turret loading simulator because that's all you have time to do. And we didn't clear all of the waves. So we got to the end of the night and we were still getting zombies. So we weren't killing zombies fast enough. The only way I think to improve this is to add a third or fourth lane and just see if we can get more zombies in at a time. Or I really don't, I'm not sure. Maybe they got to get to where they're dead sooner is really the only way to get through it. So I might goof around with that and see if I can figure it out. But again, that's all going to be in version 2.0. That also means that the ongoing series that I had in 1.4 is going to end. As much as I'd like to finish it, YouTube rules dictate that I must go forward. And so I must play with all the new bells and whistles. Otherwise, bad things might happen. I don't know. But we will be moving on to a new series, try out all of the new biome progression stuff, see what that looks like. So expect a new episode or a new start to a new series as soon as possible. And with that, I will see you guys next time.